Welcome to the Vibes Lab, your front row seat to the science behind VIA, the Vibes AI agentic platform making everyday brain health accessible to all. Every episode is designed to reveal insights that will enhance your cognitive health and well-being. Follow us to grab your lab key and experience limitless intelligence.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into something pretty fascinating?
I know I am.
Well, today we're looking at sound therapy and ADHD.
Yeah, specifically how it might be used to manage ADHD symptoms.
We've got a bunch of research to unpack today.
We do. We're focusing on two main areas, alpha waves and this thing called 40 hertz therapy.
Interesting. So we're not just talking about any old sounds here, right?
Definitely not. It's about using specific sound frequencies, ones that can, influence those brainwaves linked to focus and things like relaxation or even creativity.
Okay, so it's a little more targeted than just putting on some Mozart.
Exactly. More like harnessing the power of sound to maybe kind of shift brain activity in a beneficial way.
Got it. So where do we even begin?
Let's start with alpha waves. They happen between 8 and 12 hertz. And you know what they're linked to?
What's that?
A state of relaxed focus.
Relaxed focus.
Yeah, almost like, that feeling you get when you're totally absorbed in a hobby.
Oh, like that flow state everyone's always talking about, where it feels like everything just clicks.
Exactly. And research suggests that listening to alpha wave frequencies, particularly 8, 10 hertz, could help people quiet those racing thoughts.
Especially for people with ADHD, right? Where finding that calm focus can be really tough.
You got it. Think about it. For someone with ADHD, imagine being able to transition from like that end-of-day exhaustion to a state where they can actually do the things they enjoy.
It's like giving your brain permission to unwind and shift gears.
Exactly. And there's actually this source called ADHD Flow State that recommends trying this, like listening to alpha wave frequencies after a long day to help reset.
Interesting. It's almost like a sonic reset button. But I think things get even more interesting when we talk about 40 hertz therapy, don't they?
Definitely. Now we're getting into some really cutting-edge research.
Ooh, cutting edge.
Yeah. So 40 hertz therapy uses something called binaural beats. Basically, it's just two slightly different sound frequencies, but played in each ear separately.
Okay, I think I've heard of those before.
Yeah, and the goal is to sort of stimulate gamma brainwave activity.
Gamma waves. Okay, so those are the ones linked to that really intense focus and processing power, right?
Yep, that's them. And, these are areas that can be especially challenging for people with ADHD.
Right. So almost like 40 hertz therapy is like a tune-up for that high-performance engine of the brain.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks. So is there research to back that up?
Oh, absolutely. There's a pilot study by Biolak and colleagues, and they found that binaural beats at 40 hertz led to, well, a pretty fascinating result.
What's that?
Adults with ADHD actually reported significant improvements in how well they felt they were studying.
Wow, so it wasn't just about some objective measure, but it actually changed how they felt about their focus.
Exactly. That subjective experience is really important. And get this, some researchers even think that 40 hertz could actually be like stimulating the brain to work better.
Really? Like helping with memory and how we process information.
Yeah. And there's this source, No Ordinary Moments, that goes deep into all of this.
Okay, so we've got alpha waves for relaxed focus and then 40 hertz for boosting those gamma waves. It's like having a sonic toolbox for our brains. But I'm guessing there's more to this, right? More research on sound therapy and ADHD?
Oh, yeah, tons. There are other studies looking at different kinds of sound and how they might be helpful, like one by Kennel and his colleagues, for example, that looked at binaural beats in kids and teenagers.
What did they find?
Well, the attention tests didn't show huge changes,
But
parents actually reported fewer problems with homework.
interesting. So maybe the benefits weren't showing up in a test setting, but in real life.
It seems like it.
Yeah, and that seems pretty important.
Absolutely. And then we've got a study by Majar and colleagues. This one focused on something a little different. Calm music.
Calm music. Interesting.
And guess what? They found that it actually improved reading comprehension in kids with ADHD.
Wait, calm music can help with reading comprehension. That's wild. Anything else?
Yeah, they also found that the kids' heart rates were lower when they were listening, which suggests it might have helped regulate their nervous systems too.
Wow. So calm music might not only help with focus, but also help regulate those, automatic functions in the body.
It seems that way.
That's fascinating. What other cool research have you come across?
Oh, there's this really cool study from Malaysia. Researchers combined nature sounds with brain training games. and they saw a 50% reduction in ADHD symptoms in just 6 weeks.
Wow, 50%. That's huge.
I know, right? This was reported by Asia Research News, and it really shows how powerful it can be to combine different sound-based approaches.
Okay, we've covered a lot, and it all sounds super promising. But let's think about our listeners for a second. What does all of this research actually mean for someone who's dealing with ADHD? Or even just someone who wants to improve their focus? How can they actually use this information?
Well, the good news is that using sound therapy is actually pretty simple.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Just find a quiet space, put on some good headphones, and start with shorter sessions, maybe like 20 minutes.
And I'm guessing consistency is key, right? Like with anything new.
Exactly.
But with all these different frequencies and types of sounds, where should someone even start?
Honestly, just start exploring.
Exploring.
Yeah. Try out different frequencies, different music, even nature sounds. See what works best for you.
I like that. It's about finding what helps you feel more focused and in control. But I have to ask,
What's that?
do any of these findings apply to, well, everyone? Could sound therapy be helpful for anyone who wants to improve their focus and well-being, even if they don't have ADHD?
That's a great question, and one that researchers are actually looking into more and more. There's definitely a growing body of evidence suggesting that sound therapy might have positive effects on cognitive function for people without ADHD. Like, it might even help reduce stress and improve sleep quality.
Yeah.
But to really understand that, well, we need to dive deeper into those findings.
Okay, so it's not just for folks with ADHD. This sounds like it could be a brain boost for, well, anyone. But hold on, let's not get ahead of ourselves. What does this broader research actually tell us?
Well, it's definitely not as simple as saying everyone should be blasting certain frequencies all day long. Like, more research is needed to really figure out the optimal frequencies and the right dose for different purposes. But the early findings are pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was reading about some studies that showed binaural beats in the theta frequency range, which is linked to, like, deep relaxation and meditation can actually improve sleep quality.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead of counting sheep, we could be counting sound waves. That's a much cooler image.
Definitely.
But, okay, before we get too carried away with all the potential benefits, let's address the elephant in the room. Are there any risks or downsides to sound therapy? We've got to be responsible here, right?
Oh, for sure. Safety is always the top priority. And the good news is that sound therapy is generally considered to be pretty safe. It's non-invasive. But there are a few things to keep in mind.
Okay, like what?
Well, first off, always make sure you're using high-quality headphones and avoid listening at super high volumes.
Right, got to protect those ears.
Exactly. What else? Some people might experience like mild side effects.
Side effects, like what kind?
Things like headaches or dizziness, especially when they're first starting out.
Okay, so nothing too serious.
Right. But it's always a good idea to start with those shorter sessions and gradually increase the duration as you get more comfortable.
Makes sense. And this probably goes without saying, but don't try this while operating heavy machinery.
Yeah, definitely not. Sound therapy should be practiced in a safe environment. And of course, if you have any concerns, any pre-existing medical conditions, you should always talk to your doctor before trying any new therapy.
Good advice. Safety first. But, overall, it seems like sound therapy has the potential to be a really valuable tool, not just for managing ADHD symptoms, but also for enhancing well-being in general. It's accessible, it's non-invasive, and it's, backed by this growing body of research. What's not to like?
I agree completely. And honestly, I think the most exciting part is that we're really just scratching the surface of what's possible with sound therapy. Like, as technology keeps advancing and our understanding of the brain gets deeper, I think we'll see even more innovative applications emerge, in the years to come.
It's like a whole new frontier of healing and self-improvement just waiting to be discovered. This makes me think. If sound can have such a profound impact on our brains, what other possibilities are out there? Like, could there be other frequencies or rhythms or harmonies that we haven't even discovered yet? Things that could unlock even greater potential within us?
Wow, that's a really interesting question to think about. Like, the world of sound is so vast and largely unexplored. It makes you wonder what incredible discoveries are still out there, just waiting to be found.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired. Like, it's time to put on my headphones and really tune in to all those possibilities. But let's not forget, for people with ADHD, this isn't just about exploring potential. It's about finding real solutions to, the challenges they face every day.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really crucial point. We've talked a lot about the research and all these exciting possibilities, but we should probably circle back to the, practical side of things. How can sound therapy actually be integrated into a more holistic approach to managing ADHD?
Right. And we talked about personalized sound therapy earlier. Could you maybe talk a bit more about that? It sounds so futuristic.
It really is. You see, just like we all have different fingerprints, we also have unique brainwave patterns. So what works really well for one person might not be as effective for someone else.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the future of sound therapy could actually involve these personalized soundtracks that are like tailor-made for an individual's brainwave profile.
Uh-huh.
Imagine having a custom-designed soundscape that optimizes your focus or creativity or even your sleep.
That's incredible. Like having a personal trainer for your brain. But how would that even work?
Well, researchers are actually developing these really sophisticated brain-computer interfaces
Yeah.
that can, monitor brainwave activity in real time. And then these devices could adjust the sounds to, create the desired brain state.
Wow, so it's a feedback loop where the technology is basically adapting to your brain.
Exactly. Like giving your brain exactly what it needs at any given moment.
That's amazing. But okay, let's be realistic. This kind of personalized sound therapy, it's not exactly available to everyone just yet, right?
That's true. This kind of technology is still pretty new. But the fact that it's even being explored is, it's a testament to how far we've come in understanding the brain.
It's like a glimpse into the future of brain health. Okay, so we've painted a pretty optimistic picture of sound therapy so far. But I think it's important to acknowledge that, it's not a magic bullet. It's not going to solve every problem or make ADHD disappear overnight.
You're absolutely right. Sound therapy is a tool. And just like any tool, it needs to be used appropriately and in conjunction with other strategies. So for someone with ADHD, it's still super important to work with healthcare professionals, to create a treatment plan that might include medication therapy and lifestyle changes.
So it's all about finding what works best for you. And sound therapy might be a really powerful addition to that, that toolkit.
Totally. And I think it's also really important to manage expectations. Sound therapy isn't a quick fix. It takes time and consistency and, patience to really see results.
Right. And just like with any therapy, there's no guarantee that it will work for absolutely everyone. But, the research is definitely promising. And it's certainly worth exploring, if you're looking for new ways to manage ADHD symptoms or just want to boost your overall well-being. So, as we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that sound therapy, especially when it's personalized, could really be a game changer for people with ADHD. But it's not like a standalone solution, you know what I mean?
Right. It's about integrating it into a bigger approach that addresses all those different aspects of ADHD.
Exactly. And it's about, giving people the tools to kind of take control of their own well-being. And even if sound therapy isn't like the main solution for someone, just the act of incorporating more mindful listening can make a huge difference.
Yeah, just being more intentional about the sounds around us, whether it's music or nature sounds or even, just moments of quiet.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Like we live in a world that's constantly bombarding us with noise. So taking time to just, really listen, to tune into the sounds around us and within us, it can be incredibly restorative.
It's like hitting the pause button on all the chaos and giving our brains a chance to reset.
I love that.
Well, this has definitely made me want to pay more attention to the sounds in my own life. Maybe even try out some of these sound therapy techniques we've been talking about.
Me too.
Ah.
It's been fascinating to really explore the power of sound. And honestly, I have a feeling this is just the beginning. Who knows what incredible discoveries are still to come, right?
Right, like we're just starting to understand the connection between sound and the brain.
Exactly.
Well, until those discoveries are made, I think the best thing we can do is just encourage everyone listening to, keep an open mind, stay curious, and keep listening.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mm.
The world of sound is just full of wonders, and they're all out there waiting to be discovered.
So whether you're trying to manage ADHD symptoms or just want to boost your focus or find a little more peace in your day,
remember, the power of sound is right there at your fingertips. Or should I say your eardrums.
huh? I love that. And on that note, it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive into the fascinating world of sound therapy.
Yes, it is.
We hope you've enjoyed the journey and maybe even learned a thing or two.
And who knows, maybe you'll even feel inspired to start exploring the power of sound in your own life.
Until next time.